Welcome to the Table Talk with Ronnie James, where the stories flow and we're burning bushes. Got the world spinning round, never feeling tame. Voices rising up like a wild, sweet refrain. So come on, gather around, let's make it loud. We're diving deep, let's shake this crowd. The Table Talk with Ronnie James, let's it rock. Ooh. From politics to music, we'll cover it all. Each voice a beacon, will never stall. Laughs and wisdom echoing across the table. So come on, gather around, let's make it loud. We're diving deep, let's shake this world. With every episode, we're setting the stage. Living life out loud, we'll never cage. Grab a drink, let's turn the page. Here's to the stories, the laughter we'll bring in this podcast journey. Let the freedom ring. So come on, gather around, let's make it loud. We're diving deep, let's shake this world. With every episode, we're setting the stage. Living life out loud, we'll never cage. Grab a drink, let's turn the page. Here's to the stories, the laughter we'll bring in this podcast journey. Let the freedom ring.
Welcome to the podcast. We are back here at the Table Talk podcast with me, your host, Ronnie James. And today we have a awesome subject on the table. And we have our first guest, Miss Dovie Stewart. And we're talking about hypnotherapy today. And we actually want to know, what is hypnotherapy? So, Miss Dovie Stewart, I tell you, this is an interesting subject. A lot of people are lost when it comes to hypnotherapy. And from what I understand, the medical field doesn't even recognize it. So could you give us pretty much a history lesson on hypnotherapy?
Hypnotherapy was been used for many hundreds of years. Albert Einstein actually was the first one ever recorded for using it, and he used it to come up with a lot of his theories.
Wow. He had a lot of theories. So how does it work?
Well,
I mean, seriously, how does this thing work? Because we've seen movies and different things like that, and I think that gives a very negative input toward the fact of what hypnotherapy is.
show hypnotherapy or hypnosis is a lot different than hypnotherapy. It's nothing like on stage and they're controlling you and everything you can do. It's not like that. You are in complete control when you are under hypnosis. Everyone goes into hypnosis twice a day regularly, every day. The first 15 minutes when you wake up, first 15 minutes, the last 15 minutes before you go to sleep.
Wow. The last 15 minutes before and after.
Mm-hmm.
So what explain to me what that would be like. I mean, 15 minutes before I go to bed, I eat a bowl of cereal. I mean, I don't know.
I didn't say before you go to bed, but before you go to sleep.
Oh, okay. So in the sleep time and waking up in the mornings. Wow, that's interesting.
So an easy way to describe it is kind of like, have you ever been driving down the road and there's several miles that you were like, you got from one point to another point and you're like, wow, I really don't remember how I made the signals, how I remember the traffic coming by, but you get there.
Yeah.
You're in a stage that is highway hypnosis.
Highway hypnosis. So it's pretty much something you do every day.
Every day. It's natural. Everyone does it.
You know, you get in your car, you turn the key, you go down the road, and you don't even actually. I mean, it's so programmed that we do it without even thinking about it. So is that kind of like a hypno state? Is when you really don't even think about something? It's more like a habit, isn't it?
I wouldn't consider it a habit, but it is. The brain waves inside your brain are the same at that certain time.
Yeah. At a certain time that you. I mean, I'm sure we got some different videos and you know we can review on this because you know I myself the brain waves of a person or the brain waves period.
Yeah. So here, like when we're sitting here talking, we are in beta state in the green.
Okay.
Like that's normal conversation, normal activity. Right below it, you see alpha, which is kind of like daydreaming.
Okay, it's kind of slow.
Yeah, when you're staring out the window and you're just kind of you're more relaxed. And then at the bottom is delta. That's sleep. That's your brainwaves when you're asleep.
Wow.
And then theta is meditation, but it's also the same state as hypnosis.
I noticed from green going down to those colors. Well, they get real wide and more relaxed. You can see that the brain waves are relaxing themselves in different states.
Yeah. So how it works is normally when someone wants to make a change, they're in beta stage or alpha, which is your brain can connect to make the change. Like you're in too heightened state to actually make the connections.
Like a hyper kid.
Yeah. So in theta, you're slowed down just enough that your brain makes that connection better. And then delta, you're asleep. So it
So when you say makes the connection better, in a relaxed state, you could be suggested.
Well, it's hypnosis is the same as meditation, just with a goal. So everybody heard of meditation. Normally, that's the normal thing. It's the same thing, but a hypnotherapist gives you a goal for that session.
I get it. So in that relaxed stage, you're still more suggestive to reach a goal than you would any other thing. Oh, that's interesting.
And it's a real fine line in between alpha and delta that theta state is.
Wow, I see that. So what's the blue?
The blue is
that's like
that's like when you just got done running a marathon.
It looks
You're
like
you're highly highly active, you're multitasking, you got a lot going on
So in that state of mind, there is no way
to make the
to
connection.
make a connection because you're like all
Yeah.
over the place.
Yeah. So, a lot of people, they want to lose weight
Yeah.
because of like several different reasons, but normally they make the subconscious choice to do it in either a gamma or
The
beta,
beta
state.
stage where you're
of-
more
mhm.
relaxed.
Yeah, so you can't make the connections unless you're in theta.
Wow,
Mhm.
that's interesting. So yeah, this is uh, man, I'm kind of lost at words because I see it a little bit now differently, even knowing what you have been doing for close to a year and studying, just going over the graphs and knowing what stages that your mind should be in, more of a relaxed stage, to make a connection
Mhm.
and to give a goal. So, what is it that makes us get into that stage more, other than just waking up, or other than before we go to sleep? Uh, could we be put into that stage, that stage of mind by like for you, someone,
Well,
put us in that state?
what I do is I will teach someone how to do it themselves.
Oh,
So they're not dependent on me. I don't want them dependent on me nor medicine.
mm.
That is the ultimate goal. So I do teach all my clients self hypnosis so that they can care for themselves.
So you said a magic word there, medicine.
Hmm.
In the medicine or the medical community does not recognize this at all, do they?
It is very swept under the rug. There are some insurance companies that will cover it. It's a pretty lengthy process to get it covered. Your doctor can recommend it. Um, I know with VA, they do a lot of soldiers and stuff for PTSD, and there's cancer clinics that
Mm.
also will do it because a lot of the cancer patients can't take the medicine for pain, and hypnotherapy is an excellent thing for pain.
Wow, wow, I
Mhm.
didn't know that. So who's using this right now? I mean, what's the percentage of people in the world that maybe even know about it and don't use it, or the people we know don't even know about it and want to use it?
I don't know the exact percentage, but I do know that everyone that I talk to always just heard of the hypnosis on stage like you see on
Yeah,
TV.
yeah.
There's not too many people that actually know a lot about it.
Mm.
That I've found. They're wanting to know more about it, and they're pretty skeptical about. I mean, I don't know the percentage of, but I do know here in Arkansas that it's not recognized as far as like
Or-
out west and
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
not commonly
Yeah.
used. But out west, it's used
Oh yeah,
a lot. California.
Yeah, California I mean, you can find there's dentists out there that are actually registered hypnotherapists because they can do dental procedures and they can help their clients relax before they can even do dental because there's so much
Wow.
trauma, people's fear and phobia of
Yeah.
dentists.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So it is, and it has been used in a dental office
Mhm.
with a root canal, I've heard,
Yeah, I think it.
for pain.
Yeah, I believe that happened in Switzerland.
Oh,
That
so-
he went completely under hypnosis and did a complete root canal
Wow.
and never felt a thing.
never felt.
Never
nothing.
woke up. Nothing.
So, I mean, that's pain. What about mental pain? Could it?
Oh, it helps with anxiety, PTSD. Fear and phobia is also considered mental. So it helps with a lot of mental self-consciousness,
Mm.
um, self-esteem building,
Mm.
public speaking. I mean,
Mm.
it's good for a lot of things.
So
Mhm.
I've seen some of your work with some of the people that has used hypnosis. For instance, celebrities,
Mm-hmm.
uh, movie stars, and even sports figures
Mm-hmm.
have used this in order to, I guess, to enhance or enrich their game, and maybe even do acting and so forth. Uh, you know, there's a long list of people that has
Let's see what
used
we
it.
got here. Oh, yeah, hypnosis. This is for weight loss. So hypnotherapy is great for weight loss. Also, this is one of the main common things it's used for is weight loss and to quit smoking.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'm,
that's the more common thing that people come to get treated for.
get treated for
Mhm.
smoking, weight loss,
Mhm.
the phobia and the fears of certain things.
Mhm.
Uh, w- with that, I mean, I've had a friend years ago. He had said he used it to quit smoking, and I don't. I hadn't seen him in many years, so I don't know if he's done smoking or not. But he said he used it before for that purpose. Another guy I know I worked with said he used it. I think he was going through some maybe a divorce.
Mhm.
I mean, at that time it was $500 a pop. So
Well, in most states, that's what it is, and that's why you don't see a lot of people using it because it's a treatment that's not really covered by insurance, but
out of pocket expenses.
it's an out of pocket most of the time, but is well worth it. So I mean, I like to say that if you can go spend $120 a month on cigarettes, then why not
Yeah,
quit smoking
quit
cigarettes?
smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
Save up 5 weeks of $100 and
Yeah.
go and But now it's not a one-time thing, and most people would think that.
Depends on how suggestible a person is.
Oh, when we
Mhm.
say suggestible, an open mind person.
So I can do a test on you right now to see how suggestible you are. So just look at me,
Okay.
and then I want you to look up slowly without closing your eyes.
That's almost impossible in a way.
Yeah. So
I,
you'll be a little bit harder, but it would take probably 2-3 sessions.
I think I think a lot. I
You d-
question things a lot
Mhm.
inside my head before I do them.
Well, that's one thing about hypnosis is that you got to be open to it,
Yeah, yeah.
and not be afraid,
To-
and have confidence in your hypnotherapist to have full faith in she's going to do the right thing or
Yeah,
he's going to do the
yeah,
right thing.
yeah. So that's another question. If someone is looking for a hypnosis practitioner, uh, how could they choose that? I mean, I think I've heard you say once that, and I think my buddy, the reason it might have not worked for him, and I think we've talked to several people before in the past, that it just wasn't the right person doing it at the
That
time.
matters a lot because you want to have the rapport, the rapport with people. You want to have that relationship. You want to be comfortable with the person that you are trusting some of your fragile state of your brain with.
Wow,
Hmm.
wow. So in this state of mind, when you're that relaxed, you might be vulnerable.
Well, you are. I mean, um, the words that are chosen during the script are what I like to use is I like to use some of my clients' own words during the initial intake process so that they're already familiar with
With
the words
more
that I will
words.
be using.
Yes, that makes sense. You feel like you're doing it yourself
Hmm.
that way, and there again, once a person learns this, they can do it themselves.
Yeah, so I always like to audio record or video record, whatever the client likes, a session.
Yeah.
And so they can take that and just be in their home, in their bed, and just listen to it, and it works.
So so with having their own session in their pocket, when they're going through something similar,
It's immediate help.
it's immediate help.
Hmm.
Instead of the doctor giving you the little blue pill,
Or several of them.
of several little
Yeah.
blue pills, because usually in the medical world They'll give you a pill, and they'll give you another pill
For the side effects of
side
that
effects
yeah.
of that pill. So someone can end up on 13 different medications that way because the pill is just really not helping,
No,
and it's making them
It's-
sick.
I think it's a Band-Aid.
Yes. Yes, I think that too.
Without addressing the underlying causes of what's causing it. I'm 9 times out of 10, it's stress.
Yeah.
Stress or a post-traumatic stress disorder, or it's a childhood trauma.
And a lot of people don't want to dig that deep.
A lot of people don't like to be that open and vulnerable.
Yes, that's true, because they just don't, especially men. Do you think it's harder for men to come to this than women? I mean, let's throw the genders in there. There are only two, but
Yeah, there's
we've heard a
only
lot
two.
of stuff. But what you doing this for a while? What would be, or who would be easier to work with?
I don't know about easier, but I would like to see more men get mental health help.
Yeah.
I think that it's a big problem.
Yeah, yeah. Men are, we got this macho
Y'all got a
image.
stigma thinking that
Yeah.
y'all got to stay macho and you got to be working all the time, and yeah, so y'all have a lot of stress on y'all shoulder.
Yeah. Women are way different. They're easier to deal with their feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Men, we hold in
Mm-hmm.
because we got that macho. I got to have this big kahuna thing going. So
And the suicide rates are through the roof with men.
yeah, I've heard that. Women actually, I've heard in the suicide world that they're more likely to talk themselves out of it compared to a man.
They're more likely to actually verbally threaten it than men are. Men are just really just go do it. I mean, I hate to say that, but they don't give no warning signs, no words saying I'm going to do it or nothing. So it's a big stigma with men.
With men.
Mm-hmm.
Now back to your study. You don't actually work with people with, I don't want to call it a mental problem, people that maybe commit suicide, but there's something going on. But now in your field of work, that you kind of stay away from that. Am I correct?
I try to help a patient or a client not get to that point.
Yeah, I can see that.
And I see a lot of people going to psychiatrists and they get help, but the medicine and the side effects to it actually triggers more of the suicide feelings. And so I like to treat a person before it gets to that point. So I really aim to have them come before they, if they're feeling down and out, let's figure it out.
Yeah. So hypnosis could
Hypnosis
totally
is
help. in that
stress, anxiety,
Yeah.
fear.
Yeah.
If something happened, sexual abuse in your childhood,
Yeah.
anything like that, it helps.
It helps.
Mhm.
It oh wow, opens the mind up to let them see what could be.
Well,
compared to
it opens the mind to where we can change the perception of how you address it and and how your emotions deal with it and stuff.
that's a key point. So, do we have any examples here at the studio of some people, like, so for instance, with physical pain that have been under? And I think you had showed me something earlier about a guy that was put up under hypnosis and felt no pain at all.
Yeah, I think he was a doctor. Let's see if we can get it pulled up here. It's going to be. I can't really see.
Sorry, our technical guys, we don't really have one, but we're going to make this thing work.
Click it on. Oh, that's Joe Rogan. So let's go over one more.
Speaking of Joe Rogan, he is.
Well, we can go with this. Okay, so like I was saying, hypnosis is one of the main things that we see clients coming to us for is weight loss. I do have a script that actually makes you think that you've had a bypass surgery done.
Oh, yeah.
and so your body reacts to that. So this is a news clip.
Oh, great.
Of course, new clones.
So many are turning to more affordable options such as weight loss hypnosis, training their minds to think thin. Tonight in my special report, a front row seat to a session you have to see to believe. Chances are that a year ago you wouldn't have found Maureen Holloway in the produce section.
Chips, salty foods, well, pizza.
At her heaviest, she weighed 250 pounds, and dieting just didn't work.
I could never lose more than 10 pounds. I would lose 10 pounds and then it would stop and I'd end up going right back to my old ways.
So Maureen needed to try something new.
My voice will relax you and soothe you, breathing in and out of your chest,
Weight loss hypnosis.
taking you deeper and deeper within.
For 25 years, author and hypnotherapist Rena Greenberg has helped tens of thousands of people shed unwanted weight.
The truth is that no one wants to be overweight. No one wants to be uncomfortable. No one wants to be unhealthy. No one wants low self-esteem. Yet why do we find ourselves in that predicament? Because that's the script that's been written.
So Rena rewrites it. The subconscious mind, she says, doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's imagined. So when we vividly imagine changing a behavior like our eating habits, it's likely we'll begin doing it naturally in our lives.
But you just bring yourself back.
In Maureen's case, Rena reprogrammed her mind to believe she'd undergone gastric bypass surgery.
You remember going in, meeting the nurse, the doctor, and having that band placed on your stomach, making your stomach smaller, and you remember how empowered this experience has made you feel.
Okay. Lost my cravings for sugar. I don't have that desire. I don't crave them. I can sit right next to that whole tray of pastries while everybody else is eating them, and I don't even feel like I want them.
They find themselves preferring healthier food. They find themselves being turned off to the unhealthy food, all in a very natural way, so it becomes second nature.
I eat a lot of fruit and I eat a lot of fish. I don't buy anything processed, you know, how we're meant to eat.
In under a year's time, Maureen has lost at least 40 pounds and has kept it off.
She has given me a new way to look at food.
Not only because of the initial sessions, she says, but because of reinforcement tools like Rena's book and CD. On it, positive affirmations which enable clients to continue to self-hypnotize at home, allowing Rena's voice to become their own.
You can have all the information in the world about the foods that are best for you and the foods that are harmful, but until you change the way you think about food subconsciously, your behaviors aren't going to change.
Something.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So it's rewriting
How you think.
how you think,
Hmm.
and it's giving you a different suggestion in a positive and a better way to live.
Hmm.
So we don't need rehabs. We shouldn't need anything if we could use our mind to
You
quit
can.
doing alcohol, drugs, crime, whatever the case scenario might be that you know is a negative aspect in your life. This here can help by rewriting what's already there.
Hmm.
Just
Recommunicating.
recommunicating
Mhm.
the brain.
How you look at it and how you deal with it and how you process it.
You know, years ago they had out a for DWI people. You know, I'm old, so this was years ago, and I think they stopped it. It was something called an attribute. It was a drink form of, and every time you thought of alcohol, you're like just throwing up. You're sick. And I think it was some medical complications, so that's why they stopped it. And they put the steering wheel in people's cars so you can't drive off and all that good stuff. But rewriting the brain to I mean, I don't know if she went through She
no,
never did.
No, it was just
It's
a suggestion through the
suggestion
hypnotherapist.
yeah. So actually, with that said, she actually did go through it.
Well, her brain thought she did.
Her brain thought she did. And it probably made her stomach smaller. She made more suggestive, good, conscious decisions on the food she ate. And this was all programmed in her brain
By words.
by words.
Yeah. So we've heard of Ozempic.
Oh, yeah.
We
Ozempic face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does the same thing. It changes how you look at food, but it don't have all the side effects.
Yeah, the side effects of Ozempic, what I've heard and read about was
I mean, 40
the
pounds.
bone structure.
40 pounds in a year doesn't seem like a lot, but it's healthy.
That's healthy for you. That's a healthy 40 pounds lost. And you continue it.
Yeah,
because,
you can continue it at home.
Without $1,000 a month shot.
Well, yeah, whatever it
Let's just go.
charges, yeah.
It's pretty expensive.
Yeah.
And actually, people now with Ozempic, it's having a lot of side effects from celebrities all the way down to your next door neighbor.
Well, losing a lot of weight that fast is bad on not just your
Unless you're on
skin,
a meth
but
diet.
well, that's bad for you too. But it's bad for your organs.
Yeah.
It's bad for I mean, now they're saying that's disgrading the muscles around your heart. That Ozempic is
muscle
weakening your heart muscles
and your bone density, and that's where you get the sunk-in eyes, you know, and you look like a skeleton. I mean, you actually do. There had some celebrities that have been taking that junk for a while, and some of them quit and some of them didn't. But this here, using your mind to control your body. I mean, if that's the case, you can heal yourself with your mind.
Well, you can.
Up under hypnosis.
You can. It treats, I mean, the things that it can treat is so wide range that if it was as widely known as the prescriptions that they play every 5 minutes on TV, that big pharma,
big
insurance
pharma.
companies, and everyone would be out of business.
Yeah. So we won't let this thrive.
Well, yeah.
You know, but there is several organizations out there that do recommend it, that do, for instance, the VA. Am I understanding?
Yeah.
You know, a lot of military people have a lot of problems. You know, they commit a lot of suicide.
Well, it's just PTSD too. So I used to work for a company called Helping Hands, and we would watch the military children while they would go to counseling and stuff like that. So before I got into this, I was there and I seen couples that would suffer in their marriage because of coming back from the war. And it was just sleeping problems. Just having the sympathy for people next, you know, they had a lot of relationship problems. So it's not just PTSD, bad nightmares, and it's pain, it's relationship problems. So yeah, the VA is you know, they recognize it.
It for about the only medical field. Well, I wouldn't say they're medical. They don't do too much for the vets when it comes to medical. Unless they give them.
They're kind of slow
pill.
with it. They're slow with it.
They've been slow with a lot of things. But yeah, this is a pretty interesting subject. You know, why we want to touch on this more is because people don't know about it.
No.
You know, you do have a website.
I do have a website. I'll show it at the end and stuff. We'll go over it. But
and also, I'm sorry. If you want to subscribe down below and like and maybe even share this video, because it can help someone else out there that's going to be needing help. And a lot of people don't get the information unless, you know, we see a lot on YouTube about hypnosis and you know, some of the people that are in the celebrity world, from our perspective, podcasters and so forth, that has used it. Now, when we're talking about people that has used it, like celebrities and sports figures, that was to enhance their game, actually give them confidence in
different
the
things.
roles that they do. I mean,
well, Michael Jordan used it since he was 15, and he used it before every game. Mike Tyson, we'll see a clip of him in a little bit. He uses it before every fight.
Wow.
It not only
I
calms
thought
your
he
ner-
smoked a blunt before every fight.
he would not have the cinema. It gives you the ability to calm down, so you're not wasting all your energy on being nervous
Yeah.
before a game or a fight or anything.
Yeah.
It calms you down so you can save your energy
Yeah.
for when it's needed.
Yeah. You know, I've done a lot of stage work myself in the past. I never knew about this. Nervousness, yeah, there was some nervousness, but as many times I hit the stage, oh God, I wasn't. I mean, the first half through the first song, it's on. You know,
I'm the complete opposite,
Yeah,
and here I am doing a podcast.
yeah,
so.
right. So I mean, if you ask me if was I nervous before I hit the stage in many shows I've done, yeah, I think I was nervous the day before, and actually talk myself through it. So if that's yeah,
That's what
I
it is.
guess that's what hypnosis is in a way, because I knew I had a show coming up. I knew I was on tour. It was every night thing, but it becomes kind of like hypnosis. Get in the car, start it up. I got halfway down to my destination and don't even know how I got there.
A lot of I think Fergie used it to quit smoking. Anna Gina Jolene, she used it to have birth. Now, I had birth with no pain medicine or anything, but I didn't know about hypnosis
At the time.
at the time.
Yeah.
But she used it to give birth.
Wow,
So,
that's. I mean, that's a painful
yeah.
process to give birth without, what do they call it?
Epidural or pain medicine or
Yeah,
anything. Yeah.
and I bet through that you still feel pain, not maybe as much.
Well, my first child, the epidural was
Helpful.
the epidural.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was helpful.
No.
No, it wasn't.
No, it hurt. It hurt me. It gave me back problems for 3 or 4 months afterwards. I couldn't bend over the bath to give my daughter a bath.
Wow.
And that was at one of the best hospitals in the state too. Yeah.
Well, so very, very, very interesting. What there is a lot to cover just up under this. I mean, we're only touching the surface.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we can go on and on podcasting about this, and I'm pretty sure we will. This is just the first segment, and to me, this is called the introduction to
I do clinical hypnotherapy.
clinical.
I can go into a clinic and work with my clients with the participation of their doctor or
Okay.
dentist or whatever.
if they would allow you to do that, and they do allow some.
Well,
people
they
to
have
come
to
in.
listen to their client. So if their client, wants it, they
They got to listen to
Well,
it and do it.
yeah.
And there have been cases of people having
Yeah,
their
I mean,
practitioner go
they
in
can
with them.
they can be afraid of going under anesthesia. I can calm their nerves.
Yeah.
I can help with their anxiety to keep their heart rate down. Cancer patients, like I
Yeah.
mentioned before, I can help with their pain. I
Yeah.
can help their family deal with it
Yeah.
also. So yeah, I can go into clinics and help people.
So I heard you say Michael Jordan was doing it ever since he was 15. What's the youngest that could be put under and deal with this?
Children until they're 8, they're in that state until they're 8. Actually, like 90% of their day, they're in theta.
Yeah.
That's why they're so imagine. They
Yeah,
can
yeah.
imagine things
Yeah.
and take them to fairyland
Yeah,
so
they're
easily.
easily to relax.
So, any age, it's good for any age. So if, your child is having problems with self-confidence issues or anything, it helps them.
It helps them. Wow. So have you ever worked with children?
Me?
Yeah.
I've
With-
been
with the-
requested to, but I have not.
You have not.
No.
Uh,
I want to, and I think that the age I want to is probably teenage.
Teenage.
I feel like there's a lot of stress, and they go through a lot nowadays between social media
Oh, yeah.
and
Yeah.
stuff. So if I was to aim to do children,
Yeah.
it would be teens.
Teenagers with the internet the way it is. and
Yes.
high.
There's so much negativity people are rude. They're bullies.
But for most girls, little girls, you have to stay on top or get there somehow. I mean, since there was an old running joke that without Instagram, there wouldn't be all these models. So with that said, everybody's trying to feel, be at that peak, especially when we have the celebrities that are encouraging this crap on.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure to look a certain way, to
Yes.
feel a certain way, and to have certain things.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so, you take a 16-year-old who, is pretty in her own way, and she looks at someone else who she thinks is prettier. Well, she's not going to feel so good about herself
Yeah.
when she looks in the mirror. So the self-confidence that all of these celebrities and all the filters and stuff that they put out there just is a fake perception of
the
reality.
Wacko Kardashians.
Oh God, yeah.
The Wacko Kardashians.
Yeah.
I gotta go back to
So-
that, but yeah, that's interesting to maybe even help them get along the path of what's happening with weight loss, look good, got to be just right,
hmm
and even with the young teenage boys too.
Well, it can help. Well, yeah, it can help with that too. But you take someone who's struggling in math, and you rewire their brain
To be a
to love it,
mathematician.
to love it.
Yeah, yeah.
And so what happens is they'll research more of it. They'll find a way to figure it out more without being disgraded, or they'll have the willpower, the
To-
confidence to actually ask for help.
Yeah.
Or go out and find it.
Go find the answers.
Go find the answers.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it helps with homework. It helps with anything with kids. I mean, so
Yeah, that's good. They need a lot of help these days. That's is what blows my mind is the woman that lost weight with it, and I'm sure there's other countless avenues people have succeeded in by using it. Why isn't it available in Arkansas where we are? I think there's one place in Maumelle.
there's a couple places. I don't know if they are still practicing or not, but I don't really know if they're even clinical hypnotherapists. Like the state of Arkansas here does not regulate it. So
Oh.
someone can say they are, but you need to ask before a person goes and finds it and then pays out money. They need to look at their credentials.
Yeah.
They need to make sure that it's not someone who's just saying. Now,
Just-
out in California, they regulate it like you are a doctor.
Well, it's
You know.
very expensive there
It
too.
is. It is. Yeah.
But more people know about it. More people use it.
Mhm.
More people are, I would say, successful in what they do. But more people out there use it out west
Out west.
than they do
Mhm.
here. We need it here.
I think they're just like more free spirited. It's not
That's true.
so religious out there,
That's
and
true.
it's not a religious thing, but the stigma behind it has made it seem like it's a dark witchy thing.
and it's not.
It's not.
It's not.
Mm-mm.
Especially
it's real
anything that's going to help
beneficial.
you is not
Mhm.
witchy. You
Well.
know, that's good witches. Yeah. I like to. I think Joe Rogan
Yeah.
used it.
Mhm. Yeah, I told you about him. He's used it. I'm not for sure how many times he's used it, but he's used it for a couple of different things. But-
Past life regression is one of them I heard, but we don't have to get into that right now.
oh, this is, we were talking about VA,
Yeah.
so we can go ahead and,
Sure,
and look at this.
sure.
This is actually a really
Any
good.
of you veterans out there, listen up.
We have been talking to mental health professionals about shootings and trauma in the military. Earlier this week, a sailor opened fire at Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. There are several videos dedicated to mental health on MacDill Air Force Base's YouTube page in hopes of changing the culture of talking about the problems military men and women face. The entire U.S. Air Force shut down operations for an entire day to focus on mental health and suicide prevention. That was back in September.
Today, we talked to a former military captain about his struggles with post-traumatic stress. Gabe Saffold told 10 News reporter Liz Crawford if not for therapy, he would have taken his own life. But it wasn't just any therapy. Saffold tried a new PTSD treatment that rewrote bad memories in his brain and replaced them with happy thoughts.
You know, being the military officer, American military officer, I'm tough, I'm fine, don't worry about it, and I am tough. I am now fine, but I was not fine at the time.
Gabe Saffold is a former intelligence officer with the U.S. Air Force. He was deployed 5 times to Iraq and Afghanistan, where he says he experienced traumatic events that changed his whole personality.
I actually felt angry and sad all together all the time in my sleep when I was awake. It was crazy. I would have pulled the trigger on myself. Yeah, I would have killed myself. And I got there. I was there with a gun to my own head. And it came to a point where I'm the threat. So I need to protect everyone else by taking myself out.
That's when Saffold accepted help, turning to art or accelerated resolution therapy, an innovative approach that rewrites traumatic memories to instead trigger happy thoughts.
After they get through it the first time, the brain recognizes that, okay, I survived that, I can, see it again. And so then it becomes desensitized.
On Friday, mental health professionals learned about the therapy, which uses a combination of eye movements and memories at a workshop in Tampa.
One of the memories is now a child's birthday party in my mind, and instead of getting some really dark stuff, a kid shows up and gets a soccer ball and they play.
We're kind of stirring up the pathways and laying down new pathways.
So if it comes up, I'll just spontaneously think of this birthday party in Iraq. It's this Iraqi family birthday party that never happened.
Wow, that is amazing.
Yeah.
So what I'm seeing there, it's exactly what they said, desensitize, rewriting the script when you're getting into a bad place. And whatever that script that is written for you now will come up and take the place of that bad thought or bad feeling. And this can be actually, this feeling could be physical too. I mean, am I correct? Just not more to mental, but physical too.
Yeah, so hypnosis is for your mind, body, and spirit. It targets every part of you. And stress, PTSD, after a while, it starts to play a role on your physical body.
Wow, wow.
So even if it's a mental condition, it starts to wear and tear on your physical body. Yeah.
Wow. Of course it would. I mean, if you, that was a period of time in my life where stress was real common. And I mean, I put the stress on myself, but stress was real common. And until I was up under that situation, there was no more stress. I stopped having those habits where, for instance, I picked my lip almost to it bled, and I knew it was a stressful situation I was up under, but what made me do certain things, I still don't know, but I do know I stopped those certain things because that stress alleviated itself. For a veteran out there now that's been in war, seen people die, I mean, having hard times with relationships, some of them don't even want to come back home. But to rewrite or desensitize that period and just like this guy.
Rewrite it.
Yeah.
Rewrite how your brain perceives it and how it looks at it.
Yeah. That's amazing in itself. So Joe Rogan himself have used this, and I think everybody out there in podcast land knows exactly who Joe Rogan is.
But believe it or not, these episodes I've found have like lower views than most of them. Most of them have millions of views. So these are kind of hidden. So I wanted to share them. So,
People are more enlightened to controversy than it is
And
to
I
something to learn about.
Yeah. So here he's interviewing Corey Smith, I think he's an MMA fighter. Corey Smith. So Corey Smith uses it before he fights too. So yeah, this is them.
And cues, and you're not working your ass off like you were a 21-year-old kid. I wouldn't have it any other way, man. Like, that's what's going to bring out the best in me, and I'm like super just grateful that I get to be a part of it while it's actually happening. It's kind of like feels surreal that that's the scenario.
It's awesome. It's awesome that you're embracing it like that, because it's awesome for me as a fan to watch this happen, because I think it's very unique. I think it's very special. It's like, you remember back in, like, there's a Showtime documentary on the golden age of, like, when Hagler was fighting Leonard and Hearns was fighting Duran and Duran was fighting Hagler, and these guys, they all fed off of each other, but it was only a few of them. Like, the UFC right now, it's a goddamn carnival. I mean, there's a fucking massive crowd of assassins that are all competing, and you'll see these new bantamweights that come into the UFC, and, you know, they might have 16, 17 fights outside the organization, and then you'll see them in their debut. You're like, Jesus Christ, this guy's world class. World class already. First fight in the UFC. I mean, that to me is so exciting, because this sport is the only sport that you could really name that if you go back to 1993 and you look at it from 2023, you're looking at a massive evolution in the game. Massive. I mean, not even comparable. There's not a single person from 1993 that looks like they're a world champion in 2023. But if you go back to 1993 in boxing, you got a lot of world champions. You got Oscar De La Hoya, Julio Cesar Chavez. You got assassins who can compete in any division or in any, era at any time in boxing. You don't have that in the UFC. You have this complete new kind of thing that's emerging and evolving, and you're seeing these top performers that are just reaching total new heights.
It's in like that period of like history where we're all in this like discovery, like who's gonna figure out how to make this thing work the best, you know, like that's almost what I feel like the race is right now. Where the race is like I said, man, everyone works hard. Everyone's pretty athletic, you know, like everyone kind of has like their little quirks and like the ways that they do things or whatever. But who's going to figure out how to be like the best system of MMA? Because every other sport I feel like has done that. That's like why most soccer games look like all the other soccer games. But in fighting, not all the fights look like the same fights. And I think that that's just because it's in this like realm of just full-blown creativity, which is because we're just trying to figure out like who's gonna get the best system first, you know?
So what he's describing is the reason why he uses self-hypnosis is to relax.
Yes.
So he has
that.
so that's what I was saying. That's how
the
it
confidence to actually get in the ring. It's kind of like I said earlier about me performing so many shows. The nervousness to get up and do it really didn't bother me because I wasn't nervous. I anticipated it. But a day or 2 days or a week prior to a show or out on tour, I knew what to expect from me, not from the audience, not from the shitty sound guy or whatever. I knew what to expect from myself because I had already told myself what I know I needed to do. It's kind of like him, but I had to be put in a relaxed situation before. I mean, I did it when I was a lead singer. I did it the night before a show in the bed. You know, when I was in a relaxed state, I played the tape in my mind. I knew exactly what I was going to do when I grabbed the mic. I knew exactly what I was going to do when I grabbed the bass, but I had already planned it in my mind. I put myself in a relaxed situation and said, I'm going to be badass at this. And these guys that are fighting, like he said, there's at least eight guys contending to be number one spot in MMA. And if you're not at that peak to perform with those 8 guys, because eventually you're going to meet them in the fucking ring. So to know he has that much confidence to walk in there, and he's one badass son of a bitch. But yeah,
Well, you know, Mike Tyson also used it, and he's been using it before his fights too. So I think he actually went on Joe Rogan too. So let's see if we got it pulled up here. Yeah, and you know, Joe Rogan also did hypnos. You know, he did hypnotherapy, and I think he did a past life regression
yeah, I saw
session, and we can talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, it helps with sports. So let's.
Well, I never want to be in the environment that I grew up in.
Yeah, of course. Well, you know, you have the benefit of having gone through it. You know, no one else could ever understand how difficult any of your life must have been for you. It's got to be one of the harder things when you did that documentary. It's an amazing documentary. When you're very honest and you're very open about all your experiences. And the one thing I took away after that, like, no one can understand. You could hear a guy talk like this. I could hear you say these things. I could see the videos of your fights, see the videos of your experience. But to understand the life that you lived, it's impossible. It's just a guess. It's like a guess for someone like me from the outside.
It's just really interesting. I used to look at it, think about this young kid from Brooklyn, New York, comes to Custom Auto at 13, 12, you know, and all of a sudden, I have a low self-esteem. This guy gives me this big fucking ego. You know what I mean? I live by the rules of that ego, and I've accomplished so much.
And a dominator ego.
Yeah.
Right? You're set to
all about
confidence.
destroying people.
Yeah.
Just anybody, you could be a lawyer, you're 200 pounds, I'm staring you down. It was a weird environment growing up that way. You know, because we as people, we try to avoid fights. You know what I mean?
Right.
From my instincts, we avoid fights for all our lives. And just to be able, this is what you do, like you're a UFC guy, you're a fighter, this is what you do for a job, a lifestyle. That's pretty bizarre.
But you were getting positive reinforcement from thinking like that for the first time in your life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Never felt like that before. It was like taking a big drug, like a loose, you just boom, it felt like you're the man. Then everybody's telling you you're great.
Yeah.
You know?
For the first time in your life.
Never understood that. And you know what else Custom Model used to do with me? He used to take me to a hypnotist. He was a hypnotist as well. Yeah, and I used to go into the hypnotist motions.
What kind of shit do they make you do?
You know,
like how they do it?
You relax, you go under, you totally focus on blackness, nothingness.
Right.
And you go under and you're just being this savage, intelligent animal. You're just working. You're going to do this. You're going to be a ferocious animal. You're going to fight, punch both hands to the body. You'll use your jab. You're going to do this in ferocious fashion. And they seeked all that in me as I was younger.
And you were like 12, 13 years old?
Yeah.
Wow. So they're putting you under and just teaching you that mindset.
Yeah.
Whoa. Did he give you any advice on how to shut it off?
No.
No. He was probably like, I don't have any time. He was probably like, I don't have any time. The kid's 13. How old was Cuss at the time?
He was like 70, 71.
Shit, there's no time. There's no time. I'm not going to teach him the off switch. Just hit the gas.
That's what it was, the gas. We're going to destroy these guys. These guys are in our way of, greatness, glory.
It's one of the hardest things that many fighters that I've watched over the years have the problem of shutting it off. Like turning it on and living like that and just wanting to be a dominator, but then learning how to be a father, learning how to be
my first lifetime with children and stuff, trying to do this stuff, man, I felt so disastrous. It was just I had no idea what I was doing to it. I had no idea what arena I was stepping into. It was just disastrous. I find out I spend most of my adult life now apologizing to my kids, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I can imagine.
I'm being such a horrible father.
Do you think they understand like, the shit that you were going through? They understand like
I have no idea
understand how to live?
No, I don't understand. I just try to basically make sure that part of my life is empty now. I live a different life for my kids, my family now.
Yeah, well, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I get it. He was bred to be a savage, to be a killer. Yeah. Everything he came up, toward was to just dominate it, to beat it to death. And I can see that, especially at a very, very, very young age, to be taught that. But I can also concur with him. I call it the big head effect. When people praise you for something that you're doing, and you get that big head effect, coupled with a hypnosis telling you're a savage. Yeah, I can get that from him. I can feel that what he's saying there. How you turn it off? No, I don't. Especially with him. I mean,
I think he used marijuana to help.
well, I think he does to calm
But
him down a lot.
Michael Jordan had it too at a very young age, and to help with his game.
Yeah,
But he hasn't been so open about telling how they did it or anything like that.
Michael's not gonna.
No.
He's a real private guy.
But yeah, so it helps with sports.
Yeah,
It helps your mindset in any way you can imagine. As you can tell, with Mike Tyson turned him into a beaten savage.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. Makes me think that our elected president, Trump, has probably used this over his lifetime.
Elon Musk has.
Well, yeah. I mean, being a very successful person, he is. I'm sure he has, and I think he has expressed that before. Now, Trump won't, and I think his son is probably using it, being how he is. But we don't want to talk about politics. But yeah, that's.
But there is a lot of famous people. They can afford it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they use it from wide ranges: weight loss, quit smoking. Like I said, there's people. Well, I mean, we can go over the list, but they use it when they're out on the road touring to sleep at night, so they can get the right amount of sleep, so they can perform right.
Yeah, that tour bus can be a bitch.
Yeah, so you should know that. So, but yeah, they're out there. I mean, people's used it. It's just that a lot of people can't afford it, and the insurance companies
they won't recognize it.
Not most of the time. They work with big pharma.
Yeah, big pharma has taken over for years.
So we got
some of the celebrities that has used this before.
Yeah, so important figures. We got Albert Einstein. He used it.
Wow.
Thomas Edison used it to invent the light bulb.
Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Albert Einstein.
So those are some of the best kept secrets in Hollywood, I guess you can say.
Sylvester Stallone used it not only to write Rambo, but to perform good in the movie.
The
short first
guy.
one. Yeah.
The little short guy.
Sylvester Stallone used it. Tiger Woods used it before his golf games.
Wow.
Yeah. So you got, God, I don't know. Martha Stewart used it for PTSD after she got out of prison.
Out of prison.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think she just used Snoop Dogg for that.
Well,
lit up a blunt.
But she probably used both. But Henry Ford also used it before he made the automobile. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
And so you're talking Courtney Love, Kate Middleton, Princess.
Wow.
Yeah. She had some stuff going on she needed
help with.
Yeah. I mean, but it's out there, people's not real familiar with it, but you're talking Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Shaq O'Neal used it. So it's really good for the stamina, for the mindset needed to perform really good. If you're an artist and you can be used for writing songs.
Wow.
I mean, I've used it. So my stories is I've lost 30 pounds doing it just by simply replacing tea that I like to drink with a bottle of water.
Wow.
So I would absolutely just go get a bottle of water. I wouldn't even think about the tea.
Yeah.
Now, if I did it more often for that, then it would be, more beneficial toward me. But I do it for a couple other things like, public speaking because I'm such an introvert. But yeah, I mean, Mike Tyson's on there again. There's who was that? Jack Nicholson used it. Ellen DeGeneres. But yeah, I mean, so
that's crazy.
But I believe Joe Rogan Joe Rogan did a past life regression session, and so if you're not got a goal of losing weight and you ain't got a problem with smoking, you know, you ain't got much stress or anything, but you want to find out who you are, past life regression is really good for that.
Wow, wow. Yeah, I've heard you, matter of fact, have done that. Saw a Joe Rogan program where one of the guys he knows, I think it's a celebrity, that did some past life regression.
Yeah, I think he came back. He was a Viking.
A Viking.
Yeah, and
he actually come out and put a tattoo.
Well, he felt so strong about it, and it was so him that he went and got a tattoo, big Viking
tattoo
stuff all over him. Yeah,
made Joe Rogan.
But whenever I did mine, it lasted 3 hours, and I had such a strong feeling, and it kind of explains why I'm sitting here today, of why I chose to go down to be an integrative healing art practitioner, because you know it showed me
your past life regression. You did, and you told me about it, which was very weird because weeks after it, we started researching some other things that in line with your past life regression. Some of the studies we were doing of the Phoenicians and the Anunnakis and things like that, and it all kind of came together, and even your name was used in some of the doctrine.
In Phoenician, the Star of David is actually pronounced Dovie.
Dovie, yeah, yeah, with the E, or actually an A on the end or something.
I'm not for sure. It's spelt in those weird.
But one day
letters.
we will pull that article
yeah,
up.
We can do another thing over there.
But let's talk a little bit more about your past life regression that you have taken, and what did you see? Who were you?
I was what they call a healer in ancient Egypt, and I was a healer for the pharaohs.
Wow.
And it was such I mean, I got kicked out of church when I was 8.
Give me that story. What can an 8-year-old kid get kicked out of church?
Well, they wouldn't let me in the main mass in Catholic church. I went to another church, started asking all these questions, and I could never get the answers. But my past life came back. I was a healer in ancient Egypt. And I got to researching just what I seen. And the feeling was so like there. I mean, I could tell that I went from Greece. I had traveled from Greece to ancient Egypt because I was not allowed to practice healing in Greece.
Wow.
And this was before I started doing any research about anything over there.
Over there, yeah.
Like, I didn't have a clue.
Yeah.
Like, you're talking small town girl in Arkansas, don't have a clue about ancient Egypt and everything over there. But what I found was that what I've seen and what I've studied was it's very possible that my past life was a healer in ancient Egypt to a pharaoh. Now, what I've learned since then in between dream work and doing meditation is just an added on effect to what I've discovered about myself.
Wow. So there's like 10 gifts, they say, that are given. One of them is like a minister of exhortation. That's not being an exorcist or anything, but exhortation was when somebody that pulls the roughest creature off the street to try to save it, or always trying to make sure everybody's okay. That type of exhortation. Even if you move them in your house to make sure they're well.
I've been there. I've been there.
Yeah, you have. You have actually. You adopted kids that wasn't yours just to make sure they were okay. So that's kind of in line with that exhortation, that gift that is given. And a lot of people don't know their gifts. But when your past life regression shows you something so close, similar to that, always trying to make sure everybody's okay, being a physician, making sure everybody's well. Now, in your past life regression, you did say you were married to
Yeah. I mean, it was I was under 3 hours, like I said, and I was married to. I was not white. I was actually like a darker tan color, but my husband was way darker than me.
And he was actually
He was a pharaoh.
a pharaoh. And from what you had said before, that you've done past life twice.
I did it once, and I came back that I was like, I had one of my students do it, so it wasn't like, she was practicing. But I was like a slave or a prisoner on a railroad. All I could really see was me swinging a hammer. But if you go back to what I explained about being in Greece, they were putting women in they would kill them for practicing for healing people.
So later on, it came into the format that women that practice any kind of medicine was witches. But in this time of your past life regression, where you were a physician, your husband actually, from what you say, got you out of prison. Am I correct, or how does that story go? Was that
well?
Now maybe what the first past life regression, you were a prisoner.
Well, you have different lives, yes.
So this could be like
Your
two
spirit,
different.
your spirit is different lifetimes. I mean, you can have several different lifetimes.
So you could actually look at this and say reincarnation.
Well, I believe in that. So yeah, I mean, I didn't really think that much about it. Like I said, I'm not a very religious person.
Yeah.
I wasn't very spiritual until after this, but it has led me down
More of a spiritual avenue than anything. That's amazing, because and it's all due to, as I say, within this whole scope of clinical or hypnosis therapy itself.
It's mind, body, and soul.
There's a broad. I mean, it goes from to everywhere.
Just imagine if you can understand where you first come from.
Oh, definitely. I would probably.
How much farther you would be in life.
Yes. And is that because we can't use but a portion of our brain, or is that, I mean, we only use a small fragment of our brain, a small percentage?
Because the information comes from the third eye, which is the pineal gland, and a lot of people do not access it ever in their life.
Wow. I don't think I ever
because
have.
the world today is so fast moving.
Yeah, we don't have time.
We're stressed out with bills. We're stressed out about government issues. We work our butts off,
Our
2 or 3
kids.
jobs, our kids. I mean, the house, stuff around the house. So people don't have the time to shut off.
Shut down
And figure it out.
So that's
and
what-
that starts at a very young age. I mean, kids go to school at 5 years old.
Yeah. And wake
Most
up
of them
at
go to
6.
preschool before that because they come from a single parent home, to where they have to go to preschool because they're they ain't got no one to watch them.
Yeah.
So you're getting up at 6 o'clock to have your kid. So your kid's getting up with you. So they're not. No one slows down.
No one slows down. This is a mean world. When we've got more on our plates than most of us can deal with. But it seems like the world wants to keep us there. They don't want us to open that third eye.
No, we would overpower them.
Yeah, I can see that.
We would all be one, because when it comes down to it, none of us is one single race.
Yeah, well, race or
this body that I'm in right now is just here. It's just the physical form of me right now.
Yeah.
It's not who I am.
Yeah, I understand that. So if we could open that big broad spectrum, and everybody was on the same plane, just think about that. If everybody was on the same plane, that third eye open, because from what I understand through watching some of Billy Carson and other guys' programs, that we are all just there's only this space between us anyway, and if we knew how to pretty much bridge the gap and all be on one plane. That's kind of why
He does a lot of quantum physics.
Yes.
And so you've heard of priests and pastors who can actually telepathically communicate. They can actually visions what's going on the other part of the world. All that came from meditation and hypnosis.
Yes.
That the Catholic Church has
destroyed.
Destroyed.
They don't want no one to know the secrets.
No.
They keep us in the blind. I mean,
And the exorcisms that they do, is not meant to be done
the
that way.
Catholic Church has a lot of explaining to
Well,
do.
it goes way back.
It goes way back. Maybe that's another podcast
Yeah.
for another
Yeah.
time. But to be relaxed, and I don't think anybody at this day and age have enough time to do that, to relax.
I mean,
it's a shame to say we have to find someone to put us in a state of mind to relax.
Yeah.
Than us doing it ourselves. Now, once someone has partaken in clinical hypnosis or just hypnosis itself, there is I wouldn't say a script. There is a way to keep it going without, say, for instance, going back to.
So at first, I like to do with my clients is we begin with 2 sessions a week, just so that the mind gets used to it. Because what I found is so many people are skeptical about it that the first session ain't really. I mean, I've been successful with people on the first session. I mean, and they're able to do it on their own after that.
Wow.
So it's really just how a person is suggestible to it. But so we start out with two sessions a week. We'll go down from 1 to 1 each week after that. And then after that, I try to depend on them to help themselves because, I mean, that's what it's about.
Yeah. So it's a lot easier with someone with a very open mind that's, wanting to actually get some help and
you got to have the want to. I mean, it's just like
anything.
You got to have the want to. And that's with any addiction, smoking, drugs, anything. You got to have the want to.
Yeah.
And what I've seen from a lot of, sports figures and stuff, they don't really have a goal to have them want to. They just need the reinforcement and the relaxation.
Pretty
it
much
shuts
they've
off
got
the mind.
to where they wanted to be.
And so that gave them the ability to get there.
Yeah, well, it's like what Mike said. I mean, he was groomed from the beginning, 12, 13 years old.
I mean, you're talking
to be a killer.
Yeah, Nikola Tesla, Albert Einstein.
Wow.
I mean, some of the smartest geniuses ever used it.
Yeah.
I mean, and Nikola Tesla found like wireless electricity.
Yeah.
Why don't we use that?
Yeah. Well,
so.
And that was way back then to do some of the things he did and some of those other guys. But I think tapping into their inner self.
Yeah.
That's pretty much.
Because what I found is that what I experience whenever I do it is that not only whenever I come out of it, I have such clarity and focus that everything that I do for at least 24 hours after that is different. And it's really hard to explain whenever I say that because, like I said, we don't understand 10% of our brain. But it's a great experience because I'm able to get work done. I'm able to, like, whenever I first started school, I'm pretty sure I cannot remember this stuff.
Yeah,
I cannot. I mean, my brain muscle was so bad. I mean, I've been graduated from school forever, and so it was hard at first. But now I don't have to write down. I don't have to write down no notes or nothing anymore.
Yeah.
So it's clarity and focus, and it helps with memory.
I think if anybody could be that relaxed to be suggested or to be rewritten, you would have a lot more clarity. But there again, in today's world, it's hard to, people go and relax. Don't get me wrong. They take vacations, but that's still not relaxing.
No.
Or I go to Hawaii with 4 kids and a wife.
Oh, it's more draining.
That's more draining than just
staying home.
But to be physically, mentally, and spiritually put into a relaxed
At the same
time.
At the same time, making those connections.
So, there's another quote. Are we in this state of mind when we sleep?
No.
Because I guess the brain works just as hard as you're sleeping
Well,
than it does when you're awake.
what I have found, and I've always had like real vivid dreams. I mean, my dreams have always been real strong. I've actually had problems with that probably my whole life. But now that I've found how to do dream work, is it gives me more clarity on understanding what that dream is. But it also it goes to hand in hand with hypnosis. So if you can actually listen to a hypnosis tape or whatever, but if you do fall asleep, you can still hear it. So that's like when a person falls asleep with the TV on, they got like a horror movie on, they're going to not probably sleep that good.
Yeah. Oh, well,
Yeah,
I'm
but
prime example of that.
Yeah, but you can fall asleep and still hear it and process it. The only thing is that you might not remember it. When you're asleep.
Yeah.
But you can hear it and process it, but it's not gonna.
And that's not relaxing at all. I mean, I think I was watching TV the other night and happened to be Deadpool, and I turned the TV off, tried to relax, go to sleep, but my mind was, and had a little relaxful in between sleep where that was a little slight dream, and it was not good. So since I was watching something so related to a superhero, I started contemplating that I was Superman, and whatever it is that is trying to bother me in that little state of mind, I put myself above it by being something stronger because I knew I was doing it.
Well, you've heard of people walking out like 3-story balconies and stuff in their sleep because
Is it what happened to one of the
something,
Backstreet Boys?
they don't shut down.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so when you're sleeping, people get up and sleepwalk and they get food and stuff.
My son, he sleepwalks.
Yeah. But that's where a lot of, they're not shutting it off. They're too active during the day. They can't shut it off. So that's why a lot of people say turn the TV off an hour before you go to bed so that you can process, so your brain can shut down.
Maybe reading before you go to sleep
reading's
is
good.
good. Read a good book or learn
Sound
something.
therapy.
Sound therapy. I used to do that. I used to turn the sound on where it was rain falling on a tin.
Yeah, that's
roof.
relaxation, but sound therapy uses hertz and waves and stuff to actually connects with your brain,
Which has been changed over the years.
Yes, the Rockefellers.
Thanks to the Rockefellers. I hate to say that when I work for them, but yeah, it's been changed, and there again, it's been changed for their benefit, not ours.
Well,
Believe me.
for keeping everyone off timing, off track, mentally, physically, your body's just off. Everybody's on. We're all supposed to be on the same time, and since the calendar was changed and the hertz was changed and stuff, everybody's off, and so everyone's sick. Everyone's not on the same page. We disagree with this. We disagree with that, and it's just a constant
Keeps
thing
it chaos.
to keep us divided.
Yeah, keeps it chaos. See, we've been bamboozled.
Yeah,
big time. So yeah, today's show is actually very interesting. I don't know how much more time we got, but it's been very, very, very eye-opening, and I would like for everybody out here that's been watching it to comment. If you have been used this hypnosis or clinical hypnosis. If you've used this before, we'd like to hear from you and get your perspective on it, your comments, and so forth. But we do have a website, Miss Dovie Stewart's website. It's called Next Wave Healing, and you can go to her website, Next Wave Healing, and she has blogs there. She has everything you want to know about this. She also have a place there that you can reach her, her services, what she does, and her email and phone number if you want to reach out to her. Exclusive services or like things like.
Yeah, so I do, acupuncture.
Yes. Yes.
Which is, ear therapy.
Ear therapy. Ear acupuncture.
Yeah, so your ear represents your whole body. So if you have IBS or pain in a certain area, or you're having problems with your ovaries or your left leg or anything, I can put a seed in your ear and you wear it for 3 to 5 days and it'll help that area.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so I like to mix aromatherapy and I do sound therapy all in my
Hypnotherapy
sessions. And it's all catered to individual people. So whenever,
Yeah, what's your services? I mean, they're all listed
it's
there.
it's all customizable. I do client by client by client. I write scripts for individuals with their own language.
Yeah.
There's different aromas out there that are for different things.
Yeah.
There's different sounds that help with different things. So whenever I combined all those together, it is just like this wave effect. So that's how I came up with Next Wave Healing.
Oh, wow.
Is because that's how I felt whenever I started doing it, because it was like,
Yeah.
And so
So yeah, we've got a lot to talk about just this subject alone. So this is not going to be our only podcast on this. I'm sure we're going to have you back again. There again, you do some services of Reiki.
I do Reiki, Qigong, Tai Chi.
Oh, wow.
Tai Chi.
Tai Chi.
An ancient Chinese Tai Chi.
Tai Chi.
And body movement. Actually, when you do certain poses, it gets the neurons and the adrenaline and stuff reaching certain parts of your brain.
Yeah, Tai Chi. As a matter of fact, when I was a young kid, there was a guy in the neighborhood that did Tai Chi. And he'd be out in the front yard doing all these movements. And I was very interested at that time in my life in martial arts. So I would ask him, what's going on here? And he would tell me most of the movements are like the insects and butterflies and nature and things of that nature. And wow. And I mean, he gave me this one example where he could actually take both of his thumbs, wrap them into someone's spinal cord, and actually just snap it like
Snap it.
Yeah. So I'm like, whoa, I want to know that, but but it's more about body, spirit, and so forth.
Mind, body, and spirit. Yeah. I try, because as a whole, even if you think that it may be your mind, but it may be your body.
Yeah.
I mean, you may be in pain because of your mind also.
Yeah, true.
So it works hand in hand. So I try to do the 360 effect and just cover it all.
Oh.
And so I'm a certified life coach too. And so I tried to wrap it all in one
nice
person.
Package. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. That's great. So yeah, today has been interesting, guys. The first podcast of the Table Talk with me, the host, and Miss Dovie Stewart. And I tell you, it's been quite a journey getting to this point. And we really wanted her to shine today. And we're going to come back and we're going to do more segments with her on this, because I think a lot of people out there need to know about this. They need to get the information.
The right information.
The right information, because it's been distorted over the years, from Hollywood all the way down to medical the medical field. Big pharma don't want anyone to know this, but we will, I promise you, do more segments on this, and there's a lot to cover into it. So if you want to subscribe, like, and also we will put down below Next Wave Healing email address and also the website, so you can contact her and get some of the information, and maybe even get yourself some sessions and get healed. That's really what it's about, mentally, physically, and spiritually. So yeah, thanks for showing up. Thanks for believing in me. Thanks for believing in all of this. And we will see you on the next journey of the Table Talk podcast with me, your host, Ronnie James. Thank you.